All right, here's a good one. It's not really movie related, but I've always loved this tune. I love old movies and old tunes. So we're all alone, no chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. Let's be outrageous. Let's misbehave. When Adam won Eve's hand, he wouldn't stand for teasing. He didn't care about those apples out of season. They say the spring means just one thing to little lovebirds. We're not above birds. Let's misbehave. That's nice and short too. God, I love that stuff. That was written, I think, by was it Cole Porter, 1927? Let's Misbehave. That's great stuff. I'm a big fan of just early 20th century and stuff. And it's kind of funny to think we're in the 20s ourselves, not the 1920s, but the 2020s, unfortunately. Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, reporting on this April 15th in the year 2021. And since I'm starting the show at 1 p.m. Central Time, that means weather in my neck of the woods is none too amazing. I don't think it even hit 50 yet. So if you guys in the UK and or Europe might be lucky if you guys feel like joining today. And as I said, for the summer months, the plan is to just go week to week, and based on the weather will determine the starting time for the Thursday show. Looks like yes, I'm seeing 5 people. Looks like Matthew Haggerty's here. He says, yo, welcome. Welcome. What do we want to talk about? I mean, hopefully not too much serious shit. I'm kind of had my fill of serious shit for the time being, and particularly with, so I don't really feel like talking about depressing shit, but, oh, okay. So Matt says you sound like you're in a good mood. Yeah, sounds can be deceiving. I don't know if you heard that song that I started the show with, but that kind of brightened up my mood. I kind of love that tune and tunes from that era and that era in general. That kind of brought up my mood a little bit, but I don't know if I'm really in a good mood. Looks like we've got 3 people here already. C-Snap says, hey, Nate. Hey, guys from Ireland. Gary Page from UK says, hey, Nate, or hi, Nate. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for showing up so soon in the chat. Matt Haggerty says, he says, sounds like you're in a good mood. What's your secret? Yeah, well, I guess in that case, it was a song from 1927, singing it, starting the show with it. Just thinking about things, I guess, that bring joy into your life is one of my secrets to being in a good mood and in shitty times, I guess. Iron Rooster's here as well. He says, hello, welcome. I can only assume because Iron Rooster's here that the weather has not completely destroyed his state of, what's it called? Mississippi, which is good. He's on a YouTube live radio show in the chat, so he must be in good shape. Ducking the old severe southern weather. C-Snap says, just finished watching Them. It's on Amazon Prime, recommended. It's a mix of David Lynch / Shining, well worth a watch. Well, that's interesting now, because when you said Them, I thought you were referring to the movie that me and Beth recently mentioned that we'd seen from the 50s, but I can only assume it's a different Them, not the giant spider Them. So I thought you watched it because of a recommendation, but I don't think it's the same movie. Thank you for the recommendation. C-Snap says only 10 episodes, by the way. I don't know what that means. Iron Rooster says, yes, everything is good here. That's good to know. C-Snap says, no, laugh out loud. It's a different Them. Okay. Well, fine. Don't take our recommendations to watch 50s sci-fi giant at movies. Be that way. Oh, okay. So C-Snap says, I've seen the 50s Them. It's great. Okay, good. So, so there you go. I've actually had some errands and stuff I ran before the show today, so I didn't really get a chance to eat breakfast / lunch. So I've got a bowl of an apple cut up here. So if you don't mind, I'll be munching on some apple. But what do we want to talk about that's hopefully not too depressing and political? It's funny how I said that and Matt has nothing else to say. I don't know if that's what he came to talk about. I mean, sorry to anyone who might want to talk about depressing stuff, but criminy, I think we've got enough depressing stuff going on and coming our ways before we know it to waste our time talking about it now. C-Snap says Stephen King recommended the new Them, so I watched it, checked the trailer. Okay, thank you for the suggestion there. Green apple. I like green apples as opposed to red apples. I just slice them up. I don't like eating them whole. Matt says I might be making a YouTube video soon. All right, very cool. Well, like I say, if you did a stream and let me know in advance, I'd try to show up and chat. But what's the new video going to be about? Just I was kind of joke and say, deep depression, but I kind of thought maybe that's not appropriate, but because it might be more close to home than one wants it to be. But I'm all for that. Iron Rooster says, how's the weather there? Yeah, because I'm here so early at 1 p.m. Central Time, that means it's not too great. Although, there's no snow on the ground and it's above freezing, so I guess you can't complain. I don't think it hit 50 yet, so needless to say, it's too chilly for me to be out on the bike trails. So I decided to regale everyone with the 1 p.m. start time, Central Time start time of the show. But yeah, so the weather, the month started off like maybe average to above average weather, and now it's like below average weather, and the rest of April looks to be possibly below average meaning temperature. But it's been raining and not snowing, so I guess can't really complain. So that's how the weather is here. No severe weather. Matt says, just debating on what I should film it on, my new iPhone SE, which has an amazing camera, or my trusty camcorder I've been using since I started my YouTube, which doesn't look as good, but I am just so used to using it. Matt says he's just interested in doing a funny video. Okay, good. Keep our spirits up. He says early 2020 versus 21. That would be a title or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of a funny video. Definitely, maybe possibly a funny, sarcastic video commenting on the bullshit times might be a good way to see. That's always a good way to whatchamacallit, deal with bullshit, is to just make parody kind of videos about bullshit. So I'd be down for that. I'll be checking it out, that's for sure. I can only assume you're thinking of putting it on the channel you're on now, Matthew Haggerty. Looks like we got 6 people here. One of them might be me, so maybe it's 5 people. Welcome, everyone. I got my mouth full with the green and apple slice. God, this stuff's good. C-Snap says, Nate, did you see Orphan from 2009? Not bad, bit stupid, was based loosely on a true story. Yeah, I don't remember if I reviewed it or not. I think I did, because it's a winter movie, and usually I would review winter movies during the winter because I'm that kind of psycho. I think I reviewed it on the channel. I actually like it. And God, talk about the ending. I won't ruin it for anyone who might not have seen it, but I actually like it. Orphan. Creepy ending, though. If I had to take a guess, I would say that I did indeed review it on this channel. So if anyone listening now or after the fact is interested in my thoughts on Orphan from 2009. I think, I can't be 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure I reviewed it. So check it out if I did, and if I didn't, don't watch it, because there's nothing to watch. Matt's a really fast typer. He says, I like my camcorder because it has a flip screen I can use to see where I'll be in the shots versus my phone. If I'm using the back lens, I can't see what will be in frame is my main concern. I know I prefer camcorder to a phone. You know, phones are kind of just, in my opinion, to use for video on the fly, whereas camcorder is more for if you're doing something serious, in my opinion. Matt continues, he says, half or more of the shots would be my front camera on the iPhone SE anyway, and that isn't as good, so that's why I'm just considering filming on my camcorder. He continues, just want to use my iPhone SE to make a video, but it's more geared towards vlog stuff or stuff at home on a tripod. Yeah, you know, the camcorder, like you say, would be make more sense for if you're just shooting a video with you can see yourself in the frame. Like an iPhone would be better to use the rear-facing camera just for documenting stuff where you're not in the shot kind of thing. So I see where you're coming from. It's like you want to, use the good camera on the iPhone, but the good camera you can't see if you're in the shot. So it's a debacle. Not that you're asking for my opinion, I don't think, but if you were to ask for my opinion, I'd say just use a camcorder. And if there's any insert shots or whatever where you're not in it, you could maybe shoot them with the rear-facing camera on the phone. I don't know if I read this already. Matt says, just want to use my iPhone SE to make a video, but it's more geared towards, I think I already read that. He says, it's just the iPhone SE has such nice video, laugh out loud. That's true. So now the new phone got you in a corner. You don't know what the hell to do. Oh, okay. He says, I'm asking your opinion. Yeah, I'd say just, camcorder. Or here's another thing. If you could set up the rear-facing camera in a way where you do a test, put maybe a dummy or something, or some dummy neighbor or someone in the shot, so you can get a basic idea on the rear-facing camera where, if you just set up the phone on a tripod and get the basic idea if you're in the shot. It might not be perfectly, centered right to left, up to down or whatever, but that might be a thing too, is just put like a broom in the shot where you're going to be and, film a few seconds, go back and look at it. I'm talking about rear camera use on the phone. And that way it'll give you an idea of where, because it sounds like you really want to use that rear camera on the phone. So maybe you could try that first. And if you don't like how that's going, then resort to the camcorder as a backup. But it sounds like you really want to use that rear facing camera on the phone. So maybe you should try that first. And, you might get something that works down, some kind of a, whatchamacallit, get the trusty broom or some corpse of some neighbors that's got the leaf blower stuck in his rigor mortis dead hand and set him up in the shot and get an idea where you're going to be sitting. C-Snap says they're making a sequel with the same actress. Oh, to Orphan? Wow. It's like, how much longer? That's like 10 years later or 11 years later. Okay. I don't really see how you can do a sequel. But okay. Go for it, everyone. Or go for it, whoever's making the sequel. Matt says they sell like mini monitors you can plug into smartphones to monitor, or I could use a mirror as well. Mirror is a good idea. Yeah, that's a lot cheaper than a mini monitor. Gary Page says, was that the film with the creepy Russian girl? I think it was. He's referring to, what's it called? Orphan. Matt says, I'm just so used to being able to see the shot using that camcorder. It's such a nice crutch, not having to use dummies or trusting you got the shot right. That's true. Well, that's why I suggest tests. Do some tests with the rear-facing camera on the phone, like I suggested. And if you're not digging it, then the camcorder is the backup. or like I say, if you've got, I don't know what kind of video you're doing, but if you've got shots that are going to be insert shots of other things that you're not in, you could shoot those inserts with the rear-facing camera. There's definitely options. It sounds like you're tortured with this situation. One thing I can say is, regardless of what camera you end up using, I'm looking forward to whatever video you produce. I don't think you've made any quote-unquote content since last summer. Was a live stream the last thing you did on your Matthew Haggerty channel, I think? Matt says, I still haven't figured what every shot is going to be. Well, that's understandable. I'm tortured because I really like the iPhone SE video, but I love the ease of use on my camcorder. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, just when you thought 2021 couldn't get any more torturous, you've got a new phone and 2 video cameras to choose from. Matt says, I just wish I had a better camcorder, ha ha ha. See, if you haven't noticed, I mean, I don't know if you watch my movie reviews or whatever, but I mean, shit, I just use a standard definition camera. I'm not one of these people, probably partly because of my age. I'm the standard definition generation, but I don't really care about high definition on YouTube because my age, standard definition digital videos looks great to me. Plus, just because my internet speed, it'd take a day or more to upload an HD video. So Iron Rooster says, I rewatched Demons 1 and 2 this past week. The Synapse Blu-ray for those films are great quality. You watched anything this past week? It's funny you said that, because Beth and I showed her for the very first time, was it last night, I think? Demons. And like I say, I don't know if I've seen 2 or not. But Beth and I watched Demons last night. I showed it to her. It was the first time she saw it, and she was grossed out by some of the gore. I'll tell you, I can't remember which, she's not generally that squeamish, but I can't. Oh, there was some shot where some guy was just drooling slime all over someone's face, and some other guy drooled slime out of his mouth, and it like landed in some other one's mouth in the same shot. And it's just like, oh my God, there's some nasty ass gore in Demons. Demons is fun in the music, the songs, and just the score kind of movie music is so fun in Demons. It's just the Dolby system. The screams sound so real. I've got a pile of other stuff here in case no one showed up to the show early of stuff that we watched, but people showed up right away. So I guess I can mention briefly some of the stuff we watched over the weekend. Let me kind of keep up with chat here. Matt says, last video was live streamed then before. Oh yeah, it was my tiny house tour. Yeah. Anyone listening now or after the chat, feel free to go over to Matthew Haggerty's channel and check out his little shed/house project thing he did last year. Pretty fun. Gary Page says, Arrow have fucked up the sound on the new Blu-ray and 4K release. We're talking about Demons? That's a fucking bummer. Iron Rooster says, ha, 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 ha. Yes, love the music too. Yeah, so, since I'm caught up with chat, let me grab the pile here of some of the stuff. I can't say it's complete, but some of the stuff Beth and I watched over the weekend. I'm a big fan of this movie, The Aviator, with Leonardo DiCaprio, because I'm not a huge fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm a fan of The Aviator because ever since I saw the movie Rocketeer 30 years ago, I was always drawn to Southern California and aviation, and I think the movie The Aviator is great. And Beth and I watched it a long time ago, and we've been meaning to watch it again since, and we watched it again. And one of the things I love about it is not only just the era it takes place in and aviation and the music and Californian stuff, but the fact that it's dealing with a character that's got OCD, having suffered heavily with OCD at 13. I really, really identify with the character. I mean, the character as presented in the movie I really identify with it. That's part of the reason why I like the movie so much. plus just as I said, the era and stuff. But if no one's seen The Aviator, I mean, don't let Leonardo DiCaprio sway you from seeing it. It's a great movie, and it's one of these movies that's 170 minutes long, but it seems like a 90-minute movie. It really goes fast. So I'd recommend. I really should do a video review of The Aviator, and then because since we watched The Aviator, then Beth wanted to, and I kind of wanted to see it as well. So I've got, because of the movie, years ago I bought the DVD of Hell's Angels, so we watched the actual Howard Hughes, movie Hell's Angels, and it's actually really good. It was originally shot silent, and then as is depicted in the movie The Aviator, he went back and shot some of the more important dialogue scenes, the sync sound. And then what's really cool is like a lot of the scenes, like the quote unquote non-dialogue action scenes or event scenes with things going on where there's not a lot of dialogue. You can tell it's the silent footage that they've added sound and some dialogue too. So it's really cool. Hell's Angels, the movie from, what's the copyright on here? 1930. I'd recommend it. And for the time, it's really epic movie, 2 hours and 11 minutes. But I think this movie goes by really fast as well, Hell's Angels. But I really love the mix of silent footage and sync sound footage, and you can always tell the silent footage because it's the sped up, But they put music, sound effects, and dialogue over the silent film footage in the movie. So Hell's Angels, recommend that. Let's see, I'm not too behind on chat, so I can continue with the listing. And then I've also got Scarface, produced by Howard Hughes and directed by Howard Hawks. This one it's cool as well, but I don't like it nearly as much as Hell's Angels. To me, it's kind of falls on the coattails of things that came out, I think, prior to this, which are like Public Enemy with James Cagney and that other one with Edward G. Robinson in it. I can't remember the name of that movie right now, but that's a great one too. But I wouldn't say Scarface from 1932 is horrible. It's cool, and it's actually pretty violent for the time as well. So Scarface it's produced by Howard Hughes and directed by Howard Hawks. I don't like it as much as Hell's Angels, but it's cool as well. And then over the week, I also showed her Dario Argento movie Opera. I've got the Scorpion Blu-ray release of that. That's the first Dario Argento movie I ever saw in the early 90s, and it's got a special place in my heart because of that, and also I like opera as well. And then I've already mentioned we've watched Demons, so those are a handful of what we watched over the weekend, and my listing has made people run away, but that's okay. Most of our people listen after the fact anyway. So I think this is where I am in chat. Matt says, if YouTube actually paid any money at all, I'd just buy a new camcorder, laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's true. But, before long, we're going to get more probably stimulus / money devaluing checks in the mail. So that might be a way to buy another camera. Like I say, it sounds like video quality is really important to you, which is your right, but I'm fine just uploading standard definition. But I can understand younger generations are more like, the image matters more to them, which is fine. Iron Rooster says Leonardo has some decent movies. Yeah, you can't hate on him just because he did Titanic, C-Snap says Leonardo started off in Critters 3, I think. Yep, I think that's true. And as I keep saying, I've been meaning to rewatch and review those movies, hopefully this year if I can remember. Matt says, but I think my camcorder is pretty good he probably means for the money. It's just iPhone makes such a damn good video that most things don't seem good in comparison. Oh my God. Matt's pulling his hair out. Iron Rooster says, I have Opera on the Blue Underground DVD. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, between them. I think the image on the one I've got looks fine. What's the sound on this thing? It says English 5.1 in mono, which is really interesting. But I think it's like I want to say Code Red is on the disc. Yeah, Code Red is on the disc, which is really weird. And then Scorpion Releasing is on the back. I don't think it says anything about Code Red on the back of the cover, which is really weird. But yeah, as I say, I can't remember if I've seen Demons 2 or not. If I have it, I have the VHS, but I can't remember. So Matt, what would you say a ballpark is for your coming to a decision and starting to shoot your video? Like, sounds like how long have you been in this dilemma? And Gary Page says, I saw Argento's opera at the cinema, great soundtrack. The film was pushed out on video soon after as Terror at the Opera. Yeah, that's a VHS. That's how I saw it. That's a VHS I have of it. Terror at the Opera, yep. Matt says regarding his video shoot plans, oh, I don't know, hopefully in May, laughing my ass off. Only like a week. Oh, he's only been tortured about it for a week. Well, that's good. 4 more weeks to go. And possibly you have some OCD as well. I'm not judging. I have it as well. Had it real bad at the age of 13. I had several years, well, maybe it seemed like yours, but at least the age of 15, my OCD revolved around the number 4. I had to do things 4 times. I think it was just a combination of stress, childhood stress, life change, and just, going puberty and whatever. I mean, I think I've still got a titch of OCD, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Nowhere near as bad as it used to be. That was a joke. Or was it? Matt says OCD is another scam. Okay. Iron Rooster got my joke. Matt says, as long as I focus my mind on something, I don't know if he's going to continue this sentence. But as a kid, being 13, I just, out of nowhere, this number of 4 came up. I had to do things 4 times. It could be anything. At school, shutting your locker, got to open it again, shut it 3 more times. And then I got so crazy to the point where I was like, okay, so if I do one grouping of 4, that's only one grouping. That's only one grouping of 4. So do I have to do 4 groupings of 4? But that would only be 4 groupings of 4 twice. I mean, it's just endless. But what I found as I grew up is the more you give into it, the more it's got a hold on you. And if you deny the urge to do an OCD action or whatever, it'll lose hold of you. I can remember working at a video store, and this is when I was in my, how old was I? Late 20s. And this was OCD as well. I was going to get a gumball and a gumball machine. And I put the thing in there and I'm like, shit, I didn't look at the date on a quarter. And if I put this in there and turn the thing, I'll never know what the date was. And see, this is what I mean. So, and then at one point I just put the quarter in and turned the thing. And it was like you defeated the urge to look at the date or the year. When I said date, I meant year. And then it's like, the OCD is loses its power if you if you deny giving into it, is what I found. And quickly, before long, I mean, well, I guess it was kind of long if it lasted from my teens into my, but by the time I was in my late 20s, I mean, the number 4 thing and all the really psychotic OCD stuff was over. But like I say, I'll probably always have a little part of it. So Matt says, as long as I focus my mind on something, I can shut it off. Or if my mind starts looping on something too much on it, more means that something is fucking with my life. I don't know. 13-year-old mind is still developing. That's exactly it. That's probably why the OCD just plagued me at that year. Plus, I was going through transitions and, you know, moving and all this and that. Matt says every person I've met that had a brain had some type of weird OCD shit, and most grow out of it. I think it's just part of growing in your brain. That's probably true. And like you say, most people that are smart, I have, you know, at least some kind of eccentricity. I mean, if you don't have some kind of eccentricity, you're just an idiot. Gary Page says, my friend's brother used to always check the gas on the cooker at night before he went to bed. He would just stand there for 2 minutes. Yeah, just making sure. Well, I still have OCD with like using cash, like for tips at a restaurant. Like, you know, if I'm out with Beth, I'm like, I'll give it to her and say, make sure this is just $6 and not a couple hundreds, you know. It's like I'll want someone else, even though I'm looking right at it. And the thing is, I don't think I even own $100 bill. So I don't know how 100 would get in my wallet anyway. So, but it's just, you know, it's just those things, just checking the money for the tip and making sure you're not giving them $200. Iron Rooster says, if you still look at the quarters, keep the ones before 1964 because they are silver. Laugh out loud. Great. I just defeated my quarter OCD years ago, and now I'm going to start it up again. I don't think I really use quarters much anymore. I stopped eating them a long time ago. So I don't really use quarters, but thank you for reigniting the quarter OCD thing. And, you know, for the record, if we're not talking enough movies for anyone listening, you know, feel free to bring a movie thing up. I always feel guilty, like this is a movie channel if we're talking about other stuff. But obviously, when you're doing a live show with chat-driven live show, obviously, you know, and the show can go anywhere. You can throw a movie blurb in there, here and there. You're just joining. I'm eating an apple slices, green apple slices. I guess I'm kind of just quiet now because chat is really slowed down to the point where there hasn't been anything for a few seconds. All the better to eat apples, I guess. Catch up on the apple slices. I can just imagine people showing up, clicking on the video and just hearing this chewing. I don't know if you can hear the chewing, probably. Gary Page says, Nate, the last Phantasm Laserdisc was an amazing release. Oh, yeah, he's referring to the video I uploaded yesterday, which was the showcasing of that 1995 Image Entertainment Signature Series release of Phantasm, which has actually got it's a limited to 2,500 and got the signature from Don Coscarelli, writer, director, Angus Scrimm, actor. I think I didn't mention it in the video, but I think the picture of the tall man on there is from the second movie, which is kind of a bummer because it should be a picture from the first movie, obviously, since it's the first movie. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. I'm glad you enjoyed that video. Yeah, I've since looked on eBay, and I think there's a lot of them. Surprisingly, a lot of them on there. Some of them are still sealed, and you can see the sealed ones on eBay. The Angus Scrimm signature is all dark like mine used to be when I got it. But yeah, it is a fun release, and like I say, it's very possible that some of the extras on there never made it onto DVD releases. I don't know that for sure, but it's possible. Iron Rooster says oranges are better. Fight me, laugh out loud. Yeah, I like oranges too, but the problem is that I'm so lazy. I'm too lazy to peel them. Iron Rooster says, I'm jealous of Nate's Laserdisc collection. Oh, man. You don't have to be. I mean, yeah. It's just, things accumulated over a period of time. I bought most of that stuff when I was, late teens, early 20s, Well, actually, yeah, it would have been late teens because by the time I was 20, DVD was here. Yeah. Pardon me. I don't know what it'd be interesting to know what the last, pardon me, Laserdisc was that I bought. Obviously, it would have been around like 97 because that's when I got DVD player and started getting DVDs. I remember sometime in 97 debating whether or not to get Mars Attacks on Laserdisc, but I never did. And by the time I got it, I got the DVD. It was one of the first DVDs I got. One of the first DVDs that came out. Iron Rooster says it's so cool that you kept all of them, though. Yeah, apparently I must have sold some of them because I can remember I had the New Nightmare, the Laserdisc for the movie New Nightmare, the Freddy movie, and I couldn't find it. And I went through all Laserdiscs this spring, so I must have sold it after I got the DVD collection, which is a bummer. So there may be some that I used to have that I no longer have, but I think the funny thing is, at some point, I don't know when it was, after I got DVDs of stuff, I was actually going to get rid of more Laserdiscs, and my dad was like all sentimental. He's like, well, this is, history of things you bought. It's like he didn't want me to sell, this pile of Laserdiscs that I decided to sell because it probably stuff had come out on DVD. So I think he bought them from me because it was like because of his sentimentality, he didn't want me to part with things that were a part of my life, which was kind of cool. And as a result, I still have those. I sold them to him, and now I have them again. So, but I think I sold some stuff, but probably not very much. Matt asks, do you like doing shows with your girlfriend? Yeah, I think so. When we did the first one, she had a few drinks, which enabled her to go 3 hours. I think she had more fun with the drinks than she did on last Friday's show. It was only half the length of the other one, but when we were doing that show, I was kind of like, I think I even said it in the first Nate and Beth radio show that it's like, doing them by myself ain't going to be any fun anymore. But it is. But I'd say I like doing the shows with Beth. I can only assume she likes doing them as well because she came back to do another one. Iron Rooster says most people chuck all the old technology. That's true. I don't know why I, held on to this stuff. I think I just, I had the Laserdisc up on really high on a shelf in my closet, and they were just out of the way. So, and fortunately, I was never one of these people who was like, desperate for money. Otherwise, that's another reason people sell stuff too, is, people are hard times or whatever. But Yeah, I don't know why I never got rid of them, but it's kind of cool how they're so old now that they're almost going up in value. Well, not almost, they probably are going up in value. I mean, if you look at the Laserdisc of on eBay of Slumber Party Massacre 2, I think I saw like one on there for $100. Not that they're going to get that, but I don't think it's even new. I think it's like opened and stuff. So yeah, it is cool how it's like if you just hold on to stuff, things might increase in value. But again, I don't think I'll ever necessarily sell them. But I don't think I really kept them on purpose. It was more just like they were up high in the closet, and I forgot about them, kind of thing. But there'll be definitely more of the showcasing Laserdisc showcasing videos as the year or as the weeks go on and stuff. But I got like 3 movie reviews that are in the can that I'll be releasing. I don't know, maybe every third day or something. And then I'll probably do more Laserdisc showcasings. Iron Rooster says that was good advice from your dad. Yeah, he probably, took from his own experience. Maybe he got rid of stuff that he wished he wouldn't have when he was young. So maybe that's why he did that. It was just kind of beautiful, really. Like, oh, don't this is part of your history, part of your life experience. And it's like he didn't want me to get rid of the Laserdisc. It was kind of sweet, really, if I can get mushy. Gary Page says, I know I keep saying I regret selling mine. Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, I regret selling the New Nightmare one. That would have been cool to show you guys. I can remember that was distributed by Image Entertainment and had a kind of a cool cover and stuff like that. But I guess I figured when the DVD collection came out in '99, I didn't, the Laserdisc was old hat. Yeah, pardon me. The thing that's just a bummer about it is it's not like I got probably much of anything at all for any Laserdisc that I ever sold. So it's like, you're better off just keeping them in the long run. Iron Rooster says, yeah, man, nothing wrong with having a good dad. I love my dad. Laugh out loud. That's great. I'm glad. Yeah, I'd even go so far as to say there's not only nothing wrong with having a good dad, but something very much right with it. It's a good thing if one is fortunate enough to do that, especially a guy, like a straight guy having a good dad. It's really great. Chat's a little slow, but that's okay. Life goes on. Iron Rooster says, how big is your VHS collection? It's not really crazy, to be honest. I probably have more because the studio where I do the show from is in a room where I keep a lot of the VHS. I probably, looking at them right now, probably almost have more, just tapes that came blank that I recorded stuff onto than store bought. Maybe it's like half and half. I don't know if I could give a number. I think it's fair to say I definitely have more DVDs and Blu-rays than VHS because I've been buying those a lot longer than I've been buying VHS. So, because let's face it, I mean, I didn't really start buying tapes until like 88. And then, I mean, that's only going to be like not even 10 years until like 94 is when I got a Laserdisc player. So, and from 88 to when DVD came out, it's only 9 years. So, it's tough to say. I don't know what the count is, but sitting here looking at this stuff right now, there's piles of tapes. A lot of it's most of it's probably back when I was getting the VHSs from or buying the 20 tapes for $10 from the video update sales. So I guess I can't. I don't know how big it is. That's another thing I should probably do is actually, maybe throw. It's so funny how, things that might be old hat to me, like VHS, people might want to see as well. So maybe I could, try to dig up some more rare VHS tapes to showcase. Like I've got the original Vestron Video VHS of Don't Go in the Woods from the, whatchamacallit, North America. I thought I had the VHS tape of Vestron Video of Last House on the Left, but I guess I just have the Laserdisc. So it might be kind of cool to dig up some rare VHSs and show them too. It's so much easier just doing videos showing things and reviewing a movie because you don't really have to think. Iron Rooster says a video store went out of business near that gave me like 500 plus VHS tapes, but they are all in plastic cases. This was a couple of years ago. Yeah, I probably don't have 500 tapes. I don't imagine. It's hard to say. Iron Rooster says, yeah, I'd be interested in some rare VHS videos. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind too. Because I've got like the original media. Well, I don't know if it's the very, very original, but one of the original media VHSs from the 80s of Halloween and stuff. So, and I'm looking at like probably one of the original releases of Jaws 2 and 3 VHS and stuff from the 80s and stuff. Looks like a From Beyond VHS Vestron Video from the 80s. Yeah, it's funny how VHS to me is kind of old hat, but like I say, people might be more interested in almost seeing those than it might be an interest to see some of those. I've got a really ancient VHS of Graduation Day from the 80s with the kind that the flip door, it doesn't slide out the bottom. You open it up and slides out. I think I showed it in my review of either the movie or the Blu-ray or something. Matt says, you know what they should do, Nate? They should have a see-through screen show up on back of smartphones so you can monitor yourself. Well, another thing that might be an idea is just like, I don't know, having some kind of even if it was something as simple as like a little mirror that you just tape on there, just for when you're doing videos or something. I mean, I'm sure that might even be some kind of a easy fix. Well, the best solution would be to just put the same quality camera on the front that's on the back. I mean, I don't see why that would be that difficult. I mean, I guess it'd be a bigger camera hole or whatever, but Matt says, yeah, instead of having 3 cameras now on the back, why not put one, I don't know what this word is, of HTEM on the front? I don't know. You are right. Wouldn't be the first time. Whoops. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, they're so obsessed with putting 3, 4 cameras on the back, and they're just, meanwhile, they're letting the FaceTime camera, or the one on the, front, just be subpar. Like, wouldn't you want to match cameras front and back before you worry about adding cameras to the back? That's my personal opinion. Because a lot of people, especially just self-obsessed teens and 20-somethings and all these motherfuckers out there, just all they do is shoot selfies and selfie videos and document every fucking last minute of their lives. So they should be able to do that with just as high quality camera on the front than the back. I mean, I'd even wager that people probably use the front camera more than the back camera, you know? So it's kind of ironic that the back camera is the higher quality one. Oh, you meant them. Okay. Why not put one of them on the front versus having 3 or 4 cameras on the back? Yeah. Iron Rooster says, have you ever had anything valuable damaged in the mail? Don't you love it when a brand new Blu-ray shows up loose in the case? Laugh out loud. I can't remember if I had anything damaged in the mail. But yeah, most of the time I don't have loose discs. I think I've gotten loose discs when I've gotten like a big TV series or collection of stuff where there'd be one disc rattling or whatever. Yeah, that's frustrating. But when that's happened and a disc has actually gotten damaged, and it's from Amazon or something, I just made them replace it. Luckily, it hasn't happened very often. Matt says people probably use their front camera more than the back ones now anyway. Yeah, I don't know if you said that before I said it, but I said the same thing. Yeah, all the self-obsessed bastards out there. Will Powell's here. He says, hello there. Thanks for showing up, Will. We're about 51 minutes into the show. I'm doing another 1 p.m. Central Time show today because it's like probably not even 50 degrees out there, so too cold to be outside. Well, at least I don't like to bike in the 40-degree weather, so I mean you can do it, but I'm more of a biking in the 60s and above kind of a guy. It's no fun biking, in my opinion, if you got to wear gloves and a hat. Matt says, oh shit, I had to return a broken item I bought off Amazon and went to Wholesale Foods because they accept Amazon returns. Fuck that store. Which one, Amazon or Wholesale Foods? Because ain't they the same company? Will Powell says, glad to be here. Pretty cold here in Cornwall, too. What's the status on your, when you're working on some new song? I don't know if you want me to mention it, but I hear that I think you've told me that the longest part of doing a song is the mixing, which can take weeks. So definitely let us know when you get a new song up on your channel. Matt says, more so Whole Foods, but yeah, fuck both of them. Yeah, I mean, I say fuck Amazon, and then I buy stuff on there. So I guess I'm kind of a hypocrite. In that regard, anyway. Iron Rooster says it's hard not to buy from Amazon because they're so cheap on prices. Yeah, and plus a lot of times it's the only place that has shit. If you want some kind of obscure CD or Blu-ray, good luck fucking walking into any kind of store and getting it. It's like they made it where you have to buy shit on Amazon. So, bastards. Matt says Whole Foods is the definition of New World Order store. Ha ha ha. Like I say, before long, maybe even in our lifetimes, maybe even the next 5 or 10 years, there's just going to be, well, if there's stores at all anymore, That's another thing. For years I'd made the joke about there's just going to be one store, and it's just going to be called the store, and one company is going to own the store for the entire planet. It's the only store that's going to exist is the store. Everything, they'll have everything you want at the store. But I'm starting to think now that there won't even be, at some point there won't even be stores. Everything will just be online order, and just there'll be drones buzzing all over the place, dropping off everyone's fucking mail and shit, and no one will be going anywhere. It'll just be everyone online ordering shit, pizza, fucking McDonald's. I mean, everything's going to be delivered by drones. I don't even want to know what they got planned for us. Not that I really want to get into it, but shit's going to really go bad in the next 5 to 10 years when they continue to shit. I told myself we weren't going to go there. Say we have to change everything in the name of saving the planet. But anyway, Will Powell says, yeah, got a new song. It's finished. Just need to sort the cover image for Spotify and YouTube. Thanks for asking. This was the quickest I've ever made a song. I think I found a formula. Well, that's good. It's always good to find a formula. It can make things go quicker. Matt says, yeah, there won't be stores anymore. It'll just be drone delivery. Laughing my ass off. Yep. Oh my God. Will Powell says, getting better at miking up equipment and taking care of small details that if ignored, it causes trouble for the mix later. Yeah, the more songs you do, the quicker you'll get at doing them. Gary Page says, Christ, it sounds like Logan's Run. Yeah, well, anyone who knows anything about anything should know that they put that in the movies to get people ready for the future they got planned for us. Yeah, it is a little, like Logan's Run. Well, like I say, I think one of the biggest movies to let us know what their plans for the humanity in the future is the movie Wall-E. Matt says, okay, well, we're getting... That's okay. We could talk a little bit about this. Do you believe anything NASA puts out? No, I don't. Matt says it's all fake bullshit. Will Powell says, got to say, I'm pretty scared of what's to come in the next few years. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. That's for sure. I'm just glad that it happened this late, and I've pretty much lived my life at this point. I just feel bad for people that are younger, especially teenagers and shit. But, like 20 somethings, even 30 somethings, like they're, I'm so far along where I kind of did everything and I'm going to do and whatever and kind of live my life. So I'm just glad it started as late as it did, but I feel bad for younger people, as I said. Yes, sirree. Matt says, you just riding it out while getting the commie bucks. Laugh out loud. Yep. Better believe it. Gary Page says, we don't have ID cards here yet, but I think it's going to change. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Gary Page is in the UK along with Will Powell. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what it's all about, changing the world to enslave us all the more through technology and stuff. And currently in the U.S., I guess there's states, I just found out recently that Wisconsin supposedly has, lifted their bullshit mandates and are more or less open again. And I can only assume that states that do that are just going to be pointed at in the future as being, see, it's because states opened up. The states that opened up are worse off now than the states that didn't open up. So even if it looks like something positive is happening, I think it's all just too weeks and months down the road for them to point at and say, see, those states that opened up are doing worse than the ones that didn't open up. So we can never open up again. Iron Rooster says it's funny because I haven't really wore a face tampon during this whole thing going on. Uh-oh, Gary Page. I can understand where he's coming from. I kind of feel like we're getting too far into it too. Gary Page says, please talk about movies. Iron Rooster says you won't be able to do anything without getting your shot before long. Yeah, that's true. And, it's okay because last year I pretty much stopped doing everything on my own anyway because I don't want to cover my what. So I won't be really missing out. And if I have to have food delivered, then I guess I'll have to have food delivered. Matt says, yeah, they will fake the numbers on open states and use them. Iron Rooster says, Nate, got any movies you plan on watching soon? I can't remember. Me and Beth and I have been watching so much stuff that I can't remember. I think I only watched the Slumber Party Massacre 4K Steelbook Blu-ray once. I've been meaning to re-watch the Slumber Party Massacre Steelbook, which is said to have a new 4K scan. I've been meaning to watch that again, so I might do that one of these days. Iron Rooster laughs out loud. Will Powell says, I went to the pub today. You can only sit outside. Today they have introduced a phone trace where I have to download an app and scan my phone. Jesus H. Christ. Yeah, see what I mean? I'd rather just give up doing things I used to do than be forced to do that shit. And that's what I did last year. I used to be in half-price books every week. And even during the warm months, I'd go to several half prices in a week, several different locations. But half price went, down the crapper last year because it's no fun to suffocate yourself in shop. Matt says at Will Paul, what the fuck? But Gary Page says, please talk about movies. So movies. Well, I already listed off a lot of the stuff Beth and I watched over the weekend. I guess if anyone has any movie questions or something. Well, Paul says, luckily I'm friends with the waitress and she didn't mind me in without doing it. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's to the point where, well, I don't know if I can say it, but yeah, I'm not going to say it. That's another thing that's pathetic, because you can't feel like you can't say what you want to say without jeopardizing things. But movies. Oh, okay. I think I asked this in my last show last week. Anyone here seen the new Godzilla vs. Kong? I'm remotely interested. It's at the drive-in, but the temperatures, the drive-in theater, but the temperatures are so cold that who's going to go to a drive-in when it's so cold? Will Paul says, say it, Nate. Yeah, I got 10 years invested in this channel. I think I won't, but I hear where you're coming from. It's not a big deal anyway. Matt says, to be honest, people burying their heads in the sand and ignoring the world crumbling around is what boomers did and how we've got this far into the mess. That's true. People just believe what's on the old TV and their screens. Will Powell says, ha ha. Matt says, men used to fight wars to fix their society and stop tyranny. Well, I'm of the opinion all the wars were all for bullshit reasons. I mean, none of the state sanctioned wars were ever for anyone's fighting them's benefit. Oh, okay. Will Powell's trying to change the subject. Will Powell says underrated actor Roy Schneider. Roy Scheider, yeah, he was a favorite of mine as a kid, being in Jaws and Blue Thunder. I want to say the theme to Blue Thunder goes wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Shit. I got the basic thing down. I kind of grew up with Blue Thunder and chubby Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern was actually kind of chubby in the early 80s. A little on the more thicker side. But yeah, Roy Scheider was great. If anyone hasn't seen Still of the Night with Roy Scheider and Meryl Streep, oh my God, it's great. Iron Rooster says, yeah, it's better to talk about movies. I'm not really interested in the Godzilla movie. Matt says, now all these entertainments and easy life allows people to control the masses a lot easier, make them lazy and pussify them. Yeah, like I say, if anyone's seen the movie Wall-E, with all them fat, blubbery people with no bones left in them because they never walk or move or anything like that, that's the future that they have planned for humanity, is just fat, blubbery tubs of lard floating around in their, I don't know if the chairs floated or drove around on wheels, but and with a screen attached when they have like two different colors of goo or whatever they can eat, pink or green or whatever. That's not just a cartoon. That's where they want to take humanity. And since smartphones came out, you can really see that. I was at the beach last year and there was some obese kid, like just walking around with a bag of chips, and it was just like autopilot, just hand to bag to mouth, hand bag, hand to mouth, hand to bag, hand to mouth. Like he wasn't hungry. He's just, this is part of being at the beach, or part of whatever. Part of being conscious for this kid was having a bag of chips in his hand and stuff in his face. I mean, I wanted to go over to him and just rip the bag of chips away and say, get in the water and swim around the whole freaking lake. But I didn't. I think this question has been asked before. I like to think you're not the one who asks it every time, but that's okay if you are. Iron Rooster says, does your drive-in ever play any older movies? And my answer always is last year, because of, one of the silver linings of last year and the debacle of 2020 was that the drive-in theater pretty much, they opened where they were playing quote unquote new shit, but then for like the remainder of the summer, they or for a big chunk of the summer, they were only playing old movies. So, I've said this before because someone asked before. We got to see last summer at the drive-in theater, we got to see, there was a double bill of Jurassic Park and Jaws, and double bill of American Graffiti and Stand By Me, and double bill of Ghostbusters, or Karate Kid and Ghostbusters. And they also, I didn't see this one, but they also played, because a lot of places were playing, it was the 40th anniversary, they were playing Empire Strikes Back as well and stuff, and I didn't see that there. But so because of the debacle of last year, one of the good things that came out of it was the drive-in theater did in fact play old movies from the 80s, and in the case of American Graffiti and Jaws, I mean the 70s. So that was fun. So far, they're playing freaking just current movies this year. I'm kind of afraid that they're just going to play current movies this year, which will be less of a reason for me to go. But for me, a drive-in movie experience is just the best part of it is before the movie starts. Like in a quite literal sense, a person could really just leave when the movies start because that's when it just gets boring. It's the people watching and just the sitting there as the sun goes down that's fun for me about the drive-in theater experience. Will Powell says, "You like Dustin Hoffman movies, Nate? He's probably my favorite actor in his younger years, along with Steve McQueen and old Paul Newman." I guess I'm not a huge Dustin Hoffman fan. I liked him, and I'm a big fan of the movie I Heart Huckabees. I know he's a lot older in that movie, but I liked him in I Heart Huckabees. I guess I'm not a huge Dustin Hoffman fan, but Steve McQueen is classic as well, and I guess I'm not a huge Paul Newman fan. He was he in? I think he was in The Sting. The Sting was fun, or The Sting is fun, the movie. Will Powell says it might actually be a good time for us to throw away our phones. Yeah, well, Matt probably wouldn't agree. He just bought a new one. But yeah, I hear you there. Well, we don't have to throw them away. We can just, not be slaves to them and just limit our use to them, as probably a lot of you guys are listening to the show on your phone. But the funny thing is, Will Powell, chances are he's listening to the show on his phone, and he's talking about throwing away the phone. It's like, well, how are you going to listen to the show? Gary Page says French Connection is a brilliant film. Yeah, I think I've seen that once. Can't really remember a whole lot about it. Summerhill Cinema 700's here. He says, good afternoon, welcome. The video is doing so well, I don't really need to plug it, but I might as well. Summerhill just finally did his showcasing of, a bunch of Chud, the movie Chud collectibles and VHS and Laserdisc stuff on his channel. So feel free to check out his little video, Chud related video, that you can tell he's really passionate about Chud. So I appreciated that video and being able to see the Laserdisc. And as for the, you seem a little confused about the release year of the Laserdisc. It looks like on the back there, it might be in Roman numerals. So I could probably figure out the release year of that particular Laserdisc. I would venture to say it's probably from the 80s. It's hard to say, but that Chud Laserdisc was really cool. And you can check out his video to see a true Chud fan gushing about his passion for the film Chud. And incidentally, Summerhill, have you ever seen Chud 2? Not that you need to, but it's just out of curiosity. Obviously, it's nothing like Chud, but I don't think I know if you've seen that or not. Iron Rooster, thumbs up Gary Page. What'd he say? Oh, okay. But he says French Connection is a brilliant film. Yeah, I can remember seeing it and not being blown away, but maybe I was depressed at the time. I don't remember. And Gary Page says, thanks, Iron Rooster. Will Paul says, yeah, haha, I'm such a hypocrite. Oh, yeah, referring to his listening to the show on his phone and at the same time typing on his phone that he should throw away, that we should all throw away our phones. Well, I'm a hypocrite too. I badmouth Amazon and I buy shit from there afterwards on the same day probably. But oh my God, when Amazon's like the only place to get most of stuff you want, it's hard not to buy shit from there. Iron Rooster says, Summerhill Cinema, you should check out the Chud French lobby cards. I think I tried to post it on your video, but my YouTube app was messing up. Summerhill says, I use an iPhone 5 as my camera for my videos, but besides that, I don't use one. Haha. Summerhill says, that was fun making the Chud video. I've never seen Chud 2, but it looks awful. Yeah, spare yourself. Chud 2 is one of those sequels that's like completely nothing like the first one, so you can spare yourself. All right, be back before you know it. Wait, I just got a couple chats. Will Paul says, I found a new respect for Keith or Sutherland recently. Through watching Lost Boys in 24, he commands the screen. Yeah, Lost Boys is in a pile for me and Beth to watch. I haven't seen that for a long time, so I'll be checking that out probably maybe this weekend with Beth or something. But Lost Boys was never something I was interested in as a kid, but I got the DVD probably on clearance years ago and checked it. I'm not a big vampire guy either, though. Gary Page says, we've just come out of a lockdown. Amazon has been my best friend. Yeah, see, that's what sucks, you know. Well, I don't want to get back into it, but I know. I hear you. Aren't you the one who wanted me to talk about movies? Summerhill says, I think I saw your comment briefly, Iron Rooster, but then it disappeared. I will be sure to check out those lobby cards. Thanks. Yeah, chances are if people leave links, like they delete the comments. I'll be right back. That might yeah, that might be happening. Matt chimes in. He says, again, lockdown is a term used for prisoners. That says it all. That's true. Gary Page says, sorry, Nate. That's okay. It's just funny how the guy who's like, please talk about movies is like, I guess he didn't really, all you really said is just the word lockdown, but it's kind of yeah, not a very pleasant word these days, but yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just kind of funny how the guy who's pleading with me to talk about movies puts the word lockdown in a comment. Will Powell says, my eyes are drawn to him, ha ha. Not in a gay way, but there's certain people in life who just have a lot of presence. I can remember feeling that too in the late 80s, because one movie that I did like when it came out was Young Guns. And to us kids in that idolize these young guys in the movies and stuff, Kiefer Sutherland in Young Guns and stuff, and probably the same thing for kids that saw Lost Boys back in the 80s. I didn't see it then, thought the same thing about that guy at that time. It's just like, oh, Kiefer Sutherland's cool, like when you're a kid. So I completely understand that point of view. For me, Young Guns was a movie from my childhood. Me and a buddy of mine would, set up in my bedroom, set up this little, I don't know, barricade situation where we're pretending like we were having a shootout in the Old West with enemies and stuff. We'd be hiding behind this, whatever we set up, pillows or cushions and stuff. And we kind of reenacted scenes from Young Guns. Those were good times, man. I just wish that crap could have been like on videotape, just like, oh my God, that, me and my buddy playing Young Guns and with barricaded, with pillows as barricades, or hiding behind and all this stuff, just using our imaginations. I mean, that's just lost in time. It's not documented on audio or video. It's just a bummer. But a lot of stuff, I did as a kid or teenager is documented, so that's cool, I guess. Let's see. Gary Page says, why did they make Chud 2 into a comedy? The first movie was a classic. That's a really good question. It's just the biggest bummer in the world. Summerhill says, I'm going to be in and out of the chat because I'm dusting the movie shelves right now. Young Guns is great. I enjoyed the second one too. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the second one as I am of the first one, but I can remember loving the first one. Uh-oh, Will Paul says, oh man, I wish I was a kid again. Exactly. Well, maybe not in these times. We're lucky we're as old as we are, but I hear you on the other. I hear you as well. Summerhill says, did Chud 2 even have chuds in it? No, it was like this one guy. All I can remember about it is this one guy goes green, and it's almost like I can't even remember this kind of human chud. It's just a joke. I mean, it doesn't have chuds like the chuds in the first movie. It's just like this guy who's like green face with, fake teeth, monster teeth or something. That's all I can remember about it. Will Powell says we used to build dens and make our own fun. Yeah, I can just remember playing Young Guns with this guy and just, putting up cushions or pillows or whatever and having the little, toy guns, plastic guns, and pretending like we were in a shootout inspired by, the movie Young Guns or whatever. Iron Rooster says, yeah, Bud was a chud, ha ha ha. Yeah, I haven't seen Chud 2 in a long time. As I said, I have this 8-movie Lionsgate DVD collection that's on there. You know what? Not that I'll remember. I always do this in a show where I think I'm going to watch something and then I forget by the end of the show what it was, but maybe I should watch Chud 2. I've actually got the original VHS of Chud 2. Not that that's a good thing, but maybe I'll watch Chud 2 tonight because I haven't seen it in like a legitimately long time. Summerhill says, ha, 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 ha. Oh, okay. Matt says, how's the Miata running? I'm afraid to say last year, I generally drive it once, or have it drive it every year for at least a month or two. Last year, I think is the first year in a long time, just because of, I guess, the way the year was that I didn't actually get it out. But it did start last year, and I ran it up to, got it up to, running temperature or whatever, and then I put it back. So last time I ran it last year, briefly, it ran fine. I think I need a new battery on it, though. I mean, I've been I don't even want to even mention what I did the year before when I was driving it around. There might be some kind of a drain on the battery or something, because what I ended up doing, I think, in 2019 is I was not if I went to a store, but if I went to like go visit my mom or where I was going to be somewhere for hours, like I'd get there and I'd like undo one of the battery things so there wouldn't be a drain on it, and then when I'd go to leave, I'd reconnect the battery. Yeah, that's really pathetic. It's possible there's some drain on the battery, either that or the battery's really old. So, but I didn't drive the Miata at all last year, I'm afraid, and I don't know if I'm going to drive it this year. With the things the way they are, there's like nowhere to go anymore. So I've become one of these people with just this car that I never use. But as you get older, you might find this as well as you get older, like your desires that you once had as a younger man, to get the old sports car out and all this and that, they kind of, these desires, at least for me, I think it happened to my dad too, where in his 40s and 50s, like the older you get, the more lazy you get, so it's kind of like every year that passes, it's like the drive to get the Miata out and insured and running and all this and that. It's just like, it's easier not to. It's pathetic, isn't it? Iron Rooster, I think he's referring to Chud 2. He says it would be fun to watch for laughs. Yeah, you can be sure that that's what I'll do it for if I watch it tonight. Is the tape right? It seems like the tape's right around here. I thought maybe I'd put it somewhere. Or I could go get just as a way to remind myself. Yeah, here's the Chud tape. Yeah, I've got, I don't know if Summerhill's still listening while dusting the shelves, but I got this in the 80s after discovering Chud. I've got a Video Treasures VHS of Chud. Of course, this is going to be, I think, long play, LP mode. God, it looks like there's so little. I think it's at least LP. But this was released in 1988 from Video Treasures. I can't remember if I've got the original media VHS or not, but at least I've got the Video Treasures Chud VHS. And then I've got I can read the synopsis here on the back. I've got the original Vestron Video Chud 2 tape. Are you ready for this? I'm going to read the synopsis to all 5 of you listening on the back of the Chud. This Chud 2 tape is like really good condition. It's because the movie sucks, so why would you use it? This Chud's for you. Prepare for horror, comedy, and thrills. All of this and Chud 2. If you liked the classic Chud, you'll love this outrageous sequel starring Brian Robbins from Head of the Class, Garrett Graham, Police Academy 6, Robert Vaughn, the man from Uncle, Banica, how do you say this name? Bianca, Banica Jagger, Trisha Lee Fisher from Pretty Smart, and many more popular screen stars. Kevin, Steve, and Katie are an inseparable trio of friends doing some extracurricular snooping in the school science lab when among the test tubes and beakers they discover a corpse. But before they can say abracadaver, ha ha ha, the body disappears, rolling down Route 51, strapped to a gurney. The kids need a spare stiff and fast. At a local hospital, they find one. But this is no ordinary corpse. This is Bud, the Chud. He's a half-dead, decomposing humanoid, the result of a military experiment gone haywire, a botched reactivation, and Bud's on a killing spree, turning everyone into a Chud. Now the kids, the army, the police, and the FBI are hot on his trail before the entire town gets chudified. Chud 2 is so funny, it's scary. So that's from the back of the original Vestron Video Chud 2 VHS from 1989. It says exclusively distributed by Live Distributing Incorporated. It's got a little sticker on there. But I'll just set the Chud 2 VHS there to remind me to possibly watch Chud 2 tonight. Will Powell says, here's a good, slightly forgotten movie. Oh, yeah, Cliffhanger. I used to watch that like every winter. I like Cliffhanger. That's cool. The only thing I don't like about it is towards the later half of the movie, there's like some scenes that are supposed to be outdoors that are like shot in an indoor studio. And I think it's the scene where the guy, Stallone goes through the ice and stuff, but it's just like, oh my God, what a drag. Because it's such a great outdoors movie. And then they're like, at one point shooting in an indoor set, and it's like, but I can understand that. I mean, you got to do the Stallone in the ice water in water that's not really ice, Will Powell says it's cheesy in places, but overall it works. Yeah, I like Cliffhanger. It's kind of got an epic feel to it. It's one of those movies that doesn't, it's kind of like Waterworld, where for me, like, the end doesn't really have a slam bang ending. Will Powell says, I'm going to KFC in a bit, wondering if I might become, okay, so I'm going to KFC in a bit, wondering if I might become like those big guys from Wall-E. Yeah, that's like I say, that's the plan for us, or humanity, just a tub of lard, and I'm not talking about you. Humanity, just a tub of lard and a floating seat with the screens attached to it. Matt says, beauty of a, I don't know what this is, MANUL, as long as they're a slight hill or, manual transmission. Okay. Beauty of a manual transmission, as long as there's a slight hill or someone can push it, you can start the car by popping the clutch. Okay, well, mine's automatic, so it ain't gonna help me out. But it's not like, yeah. Well, what I should do is get a new battery, because I think the battery's kind of old, and the fact that I never use it probably doesn't keep it very in good shape. Plus, I don't use the car anyway, and there's nowhere to go now post 2020. So it's just like, fuck. Plus, I'm just old and lazy. So there's a lot of factors into my declining Miata usage. But, you know, in the days I liked driving it, it was great. Oh, here we go. This is great. Summerhill says, I watched American Ninja for the first time a few days ago. That was fun. Don't you love the first American Ninja? And the music is so cool. That was one of the biggest movies of me and that same buddy who I played Young Guns with used to love to watch. And you can actually see me and him review it. I don't know what the hell that video is called, but it's the very first video review video I ever did with this guy. It was, if you search unknown critics on my channel, you'll find it. It's me and him just talking about movies in 1989, and we briefly mention American Ninja and Black Star Ninja in the funny way he goes, he possessed great skills. Like his English sucks. But isn't American Ninja fun, like the first one? Oh, that's fun. And Michael Dudikoff is so cool in that movie. And the black guy, shit, I feel bad. I can't remember his name. Something James. Steve James, maybe? I'm glad you liked American Ninja. Wasn't that fun? Like the ninja goings on is so fun in American Ninja, and the sound effects, like the sword on sword, you know, tings, and some of the, you know, sounds of cutting up flesh and stuff, and the music, you know, dun 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 dun. Yeah, American Ninja is a childhood beyond classic and favorite for me. Matt says, nah, I love cars, laugh out loud. I'll always own a sports car. Well, good. As long as they let you, anyway. I'm and not to go back to that topic, but I'm of the opinion at some point they're going to make, you know, gas cars illegal and they'll force everyone on electric. Summerhill brings a good point in regards to Will Powell's KFC. Possibly addiction. He mentions KFC a lot. So that everything in moderation, Will. Ha ha. Yeah, possibly not KFC every day, but it's up to you, I guess. Gary Page says, "Long live Canon films." Yeah, weren't they fun? Canon films. One of the other great things about the '80s was, oh wow, I'm really behind on chat. Sorry, guys. Canon films. Summerhill says, can't beat Canon. Iron Rooster says, I loved all the Bronson Canon films. Gary Page says, Chuck Norris, Charles Bronson, Canon regulars. Yeah, a little bit of Michael Dudikoff as well. Will Powell says, have you seen The Truman Show, Nate? I've seen it a long time ago. I just got the DVD for like $3 on clearance. Not to go back into the topic, but that's another movie that's kind of making fun of us, showing some truth there or whatever. But yeah, I have seen it. I think I reviewed it on this channel, possibly. Oh shit. Will Powell says, did you just call me a tub of lard, Nate? Ha ha ha. The first scene to Cliffhanger is one of the most intense, upsetting scenes ever. Oh yeah. That's what I mean about Cliffhanger. Like if you have a beginning like that where the woman, it's hard to live up to that with a slam bang ending. I forgot about that. The beginning of Cliffhanger where the woman, the novice mountain climber woman's on the wire, and oh my God, what a way to open a movie. That's what I mean. The movie starts so epic and so hardcore, and then by the end it's just like, our budget, you know, we're running on fumes. But yeah, I forgot about that. Good call, but no, I didn't call you a tub of lard. Iron Rooster says the bombs, the babes, and the blockbusters is a cool little Canon box set that I picked up a while ago. It has a Canon documentary in it. Well, that's really cool. Austin Wilcutt's here. He says, I finally watched Forbidden World on Blu-ray. I didn't mind. Okay. So which Blu-ray was it? Because there's like two Blu-rays of it. Was it the more recent quote-unquote 4K scan or the old one? I've seen screenshots of both, and the old one looks brighter and better than the 4K scan. Austin says, I didn't mind the American Ninja sequels either. Yes, see, for me, the first one is the only one is really watchable. The second one maybe a little bit, but I don't really watch much past the first one. For me, the first American Ninja is just the only one I really watch. Austin says, they're not nearly as good as the first American Ninja, though. I can completely agree with that. Austin says, yes, Steve James. Okay, I got his name right. Yeah, he's fun in American Ninja as well. Summerhill says, I have the second one too. We'll check it out soon. I hope you like it more than I do. It's my opinion that American Ninja 2 doesn't hold a candle to the first one, but hopefully you can enjoy it more than I do. I even thought that way back in the late 80s. Me and my buddy who, played whatchamacallit, Young Guns and did Unknown Critics video show. We both like rented or saw it on cable or something, American Ninja 2 at the same time. And even from day one, when I first saw it, it was really new on video. Seeing it in the late 80s, I never really liked American Ninja 2. But I hope that's, hope you like it more than I do, Summerhill. Austin says the ending to Cliffhanger was pretty epic and bonkers as well. I guess, okay, I can remember that. I guess the ending was okay. It's coming back to me now. It's the whole confrontation with the helicopter hanging off the cliff and stuff, hence the title, ha ha ha. I guess the ending was okay. I guess the one part I didn't like was that one scene where he's in the water and it's all like an exterior scene that's shot in an interior soundstage set. It's just, I don't like fake shit like that. Austin says it's the more recent 4K Steelbook of Forbidden World. Okay, cool. Yeah, that brunette chick in that movie. Oh my god, them pouty lips and, well, need I say more? Everything else drives me kind of nutty. Forbidden World is like just one of the closest movies to like just porn, like just softcore, just porn. It's fun. Austin says both cuts look great too. So you've got both of them or something, or what? Will Powell says I watched The Mighty Ducks the other week for a bit of 90s nostalgia. It's goofy and predictable in a way, but I like it. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I don't really like sports, so it stands to reason I'm not going to like sports movies. Summerhill says Avenging Force is a great canon film too. Michael Dudikoff and Steve James are in it too. I want to say I've got the VHS of that. I think I only saw it once. Austin says, I agree, American Ninja 2 isn't as good, but still a fun sequel. Yeah, I can remember like the ninja stuff, which doesn't seem like there's nearly as much in it. What ninja stuff there is kind of still fun. But like it just, for me, it doesn't do nearly anything compared to the first one. Austin says American Ninja 2 is a hell of a lot better than 3, that's for sure. I think part 3 bombed too, yeah. I don't doubt it. Austin says they have both cuts of Forbidden World on the 4K Blu-ray Steelbook. The other cut is called Mutant. Oh, I see. Yeah, part of me feels like I should have that on Blu-ray, but it's just, I don't know. I'm cheap. Will Paul says, I'm not into sports really, but I used to watch Mighty Ducks as a kid, so it just brings back memories and reminds me of simple times. I can understand that aspect. I mean, I just showed, because me and Beth, did all of the Godzillas on the Criterion Godzilla collection release. So I just showed her the first Godzilla movie that, obviously we're done with the Criterion version and moving on to Godzilla 1984, which is the first Godzilla movie I saw in the 80s. And although I saw the American version of it, the Godzilla 1985, the one I got on Blu-ray is the Japanese cut. Part of me almost likes the American version of that movie better than the Japanese one with the Raymond Burr added stuff. But I kind of built it up when I was showing Beth Godzilla 1984 a little bit, and was like, yeah, this is one of my favorite Godzillas from my childhood. And I don't think she did what she didn't really like about it was she got so used to the 60s and 70s Godzilla where he was the good guy that she wasn't ready for Godzilla being the bad guy again, and I think she kind of didn't necessarily love it. But I was like, that was an example where, yeah, just because I love it because it brings me back to my childhood, like Godzilla 1980, 4/85, and I don't think she necessarily liked it that much, which is fine, and it's just one of those examples of understanding what you're saying about something, a movie from your youth meaning more to you than it would otherwise possibly mean, because I don't think, that movie Godzilla 84/85 did much for Beth. But to me, Super X is so cool, and the music, the Super X music, dun 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 dun. And the music's just great in Godzilla 84/85. I wish that we could get the American version of it on Blu-ray. I almost feel like that cut might be better. I mean, it's just because I grew up with it, Gary Page says, I've seen Forbidden World on YouTube. Don Dunlap is very hot. Yeah, which one is that? The blonde or the brunette? Because the brunette is, while the blonde isn't anything to, turn your nose up at, the brunette is what does it for me. Those pouty lips. And it seems like she's wearing sunglasses in one scene, which just accentuates the pouty lips. Oh my God. Is she in anything else? I hope so. I'm seeing Zero Hitchhikers. Thank you very much. Just thought I'd be sarcastic. An hour and 41 minutes into the show. Summerhill says Revenge of the Ninja was also great. Yep, that's another one I grew up with. And some of the music from Revenge of the Ninja is in American Ninja as well. When he's up in the rafters of that warehouse or whatever, it's like, and who knows, that music might have been from Enter the Ninja. I'm not as familiar with Enter the Ninja as I am with Revenge of the Ninja and American Ninja. God, I'm trying to remember all these titles. I'm seeing an actual hitchhiker. Thank you very much. Okay, Gary Page says the brunette is Dawn Dunlap. Yeah, isn't she great? And with the sunglasses on, those lips. Oh. Will Powell says, I grew up watching Godzilla 1998. I'm sorry. Oh, no. Will Powell says, I haven't seen it for probably 17 years, so it probably isn't very good, but I liked it when I was a kid. Ha ha, it gets bashed now. Yeah. Yeah, as a Godzilla fan in 98, I didn't really like it at all, but that's okay. Gary Page says she quit in 1985 acting. Is that her only movie, or she'd done other stuff? But yeah, she was something. Well, yeah, she probably got, if she did anything else, she was probably just exploited like she was in the other movie, Forbidden World. She probably got sick of being exploited. Can't blame her. I'm seeing two hitchhikers. Thank you very much. Yeah, for me, I think my two favorite Godzilla movies are, 84/85 and then Biollante versus Godzilla. Summerhill says Revenge of the Ninja was better in my opinion. Ninja 3 was also fun. That's right. I've got that Blu-ray too. I'm not as big a fan of Ninja 3 as I am like American Ninja and Revenge, but it is true. I'd probably rather watch Ninja 3 than Enter the Ninja, to be honest. Austin says, I've never seen her in anything else. It's possible. Maybe that's the only movie she's done. That's a shame. I mean, obviously we're just, kind of drooling over her body. So so Will Powell says, you know what's a fucked up creepy movie for kids? Never ending. I think he meant story. He said Shorty. Never ending, unless he did mean Shorty. Creepy movie. Oh yeah, he meant story. Yeah, I think I saw that. It seems to me I may have seen it in the theater in the 80s. I think I saw it at some point, but I mean, I wasn't, even as a kid, I was never really into those kid movies. I was watching 2001: A Space Odyssey when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. I wasn't really into them kids movies. But yeah, I think there's a second movie. Wouldn't you think there'd be like more than just one sequel to a movie by the name of Neverending Story? I mean, that's one thing that I always thought was funny. There's only one sequel to Neverending Story. You'd think that movie would have a never-ending amount of sequels, wouldn't you? Austin says it's amazing seeing these old Corman cheapies in 4K. Ain't that fun? I really should have Forbidden World Blu-ray, but I think I'll probably never get it. Iron Rooster says I'll have to check these ninja movies out. Never watched them. Yeah, my personal favorite is American Ninja, and then my second favorite is Revenge of the Ninja, and possibly like Ninja 3, The Domination, and yeah, I'm sad to say I wish I could be a bigger fan of Enter the Ninja than I am, but there's like the middle part of that movie has got like little to no ninja in it. It's like ninja at the beginning and ninja at the end, but then the middle is, to me, is just boring. But also we've talked about on a past show. Pardon me. I think is the movie from '95, The Hunted, which is kind of fun. With I can never remember his name, but the guy from the Highlander movies. The Hunted is a kind of a fun mid-90s ninja movie, but for me, my favorite is American Ninja. I think out of all ninja movies I've seen that I can remember. Austin says we need Carnosaur on Blu-ray now. Laugh out loud. Yeah, why not? I mean, shit, they put out, these other baddies. Summerhill says highly recommend them, Iron Rooster. Yeah, it's possible some of them are on Amazon or Tubi TV as well. Iron Rooster says, are you doing a British accent, Nate? Haha. You should try a Southern accent. Oh, good point. Okay, here we go. Are you doing a British accent, Nate? Haha. You should try a Southern accent when reading my comment. Ha 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 ha. That's true. I never thought of that. There is a third Never-Ending Story. Okay, well, wouldn't you think there'd be more than just 3 of those movies? Like a never-ending amount? Summerhill says, gotta run. It's a super nice day here. Have a great week, everyone. Yeah, Lucky. Enjoy the weather, man. Thanks for showing up on a nice day. Hope you can enjoy some nice weather. Austin Wilcott says, The Hunted. He probably means I have The Hunted on Blu-ray, and it has the work print on the disc as well. Yeah, I watched that whole thing, and like the very end of the work print version is a completely different ending. That was crazy. The work print version, like he doesn't even kill the bad guy, which is just really unbelievable to me that they ever did that. Obviously, the theatrical version, they had him chop his head off, but isn't the work print version, especially of the ending, it's crazy how different it is. It's completely different. My only complaint with the work print version, of course, is it just looks like shit, obviously off VHS or something. But yeah, I would recommend the Scream Factory Blu-ray of The Hunted, which I recently got this past winter, and Yeah, it has the whole, like, I think 2-hour work print version off VHS, unfortunately, but it's interesting to see the different intention for the movie, in particular the ending. Will Powell says, I'm going to KFC. I'll listen on my way in the car. Yum, yum. He says, I'm a fat bastard. Oh, sorry. I'm waiting for another comment, Iron Rooster, so I can read it with a southern accent now. There we go. I like KFC too, Will. You know, Summerhill's, I don't know, he's probably not still here. Summerhill's from Canada, and he does videos as well, but he doesn't really, I don't know, he doesn't really have the too much of the Canadian accent thing. So I can't really read his comments like that. And Gary Page says Cannon's Life Force was amazing and big budget for them. Was that the Toby Hooper movie? I'm kind of confused. If that was that the Toby Hooper movie? Austin says, yeah, the third act is completely different. I had no idea there was a love story between Lambert and that guy's wife. Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. That was just a waste of time, in my opinion, because it starts and then she ends it, and then he doesn't even kill the bad guy at the end. Isn't that funny? Oh my God. That's almost like the novel of Jaws. Like, who the hell were the Hooper and Brody's wife were having an affair in the novelization in the Jaws novel. That was like one of the only books I ever read because I was just so curious about the original novel of Jaws. And it's like, can you imagine that being in the movie? Like, oh my God. Yeah, that relationship between Lambert and the guy's wife was just goofy. Iron Rooster says, ha ha ha, you got me cracking up, Nate. Austin says, I prefer the theatrical cut of Hunted. They made the right changes, in my opinion. I agree. Like, you got to cut that motherfucker's head off and cut out the, goings on with that guy's wife and stuff. Come on. Will Powell says, KFC is all I have in life, and this show, of course. Well, thank you. So the two only things he has in life, he does simultaneously. I hope Nate goes live on 1 p.m. Central this Thursday so I can listen to him and have KFC at the same time. Iron Rooster says, I really don't have an accent either, but it's still funny. He also says, I love KFC's honey mustard. Will Powell says, ha, 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 ha. That was me saying ha, ha with a British accent. And Iron Rooster says, ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Austin says, they showed that work print of Hunted to a test audience and it had a negative response, so they reshot a lot of stuff. Sometimes test screenings save a movie. I can't even believe that the guy who wrote the movie would ever write those elements in there. Isn't that just weird that the studio would even let him do that? What a waste of time and film to shoot all that stuff that they never ended up using. Will Powell says, stop making fun of me. I'll tell my mother. Isn't she your mum? I'm going to change his comment. I'll tell my mum. Gary Page says, I'm from the north of England. My accent is nothing like the typical British. Nate, you sound like Harry Potter. I just do a generic British accent for everyone in the UK. Iron Rooster says, Nate, you need to do voiceover work. I thought of that years ago. I thought that'd be fun, but I don't know how you get into that. I thought that'd be fun. I can remember in the '90s when when Batman the animated series started, and it was just a huge success. I loved Batman the animated series when it first came out, and I remember thinking how fun it would be to like do a voice for the show, because I just loved the guy who like did Batman slash Bruce Wayne's voice, and of course Mark Hamill as the Joker and all that stuff. I'd be totally interested. I don't know how one gets into that stuff. Will Powell says, "Yeah, we say mum." Ho ho ho. Gary Page says, "We're working class." Yeah, who isn't? It's true. Austin says the hunted work print was. Whoops, I kicked over Chud. VHS. Austin says the hunted work print was more of a love story and might be what they were going for, but it doesn't work. It works better as a straightforward action flick. Well, especially when that love story segment between the main star and the guy's wife just lasted so briefly. Like if it had gone longer in the movie, it might have worked. But I mean, it seemed like it just happened and it was over right away. So yeah. Yeah, I think it works better as a straightforward action flick myself. Will Powell says, I grew up pretty middle class, but I'll still talk to you. Well, thank you. I can only assume Matt has left us a while back, unless he's just silent and busy pondering which camera he's going to use for his video. Let's see here. I'm scanning up. Yeah, it's been a long time since Matt said something. I wonder if it'd be cool if there are timestamps on these things. Will says, okay. Matt says, I'm here and there. Will says, I'm a posh boy. I don't know what that means. Gary Page says, yeah, Canon gave Toby Hooper 3-film contract. Okay, so that was that movie. I can remember there's like a hot naked chick in that movie. That's the only thing I can remember about Life Force. Is it Life Force? I don't remember anymore. Will Paul says, I eat my KFC with a knife and fork. Austin says, not many people know about Hunted 1995 and always confuse it with, the Tommy Lee Jones movie from 2003, laugh out loud. Yeah, that's what I said, in a past show, was I'm glad that, Scream Factory on Blu-ray, maybe get it in a few more people's hands that might otherwise, might be interested in something like that never knew it existed. Because, I mean, shit. I mean, it is a movie that really came and went really quick, and I saw it in the theater. I got to see it in the theater. It was kind of cool to be able to see it in the theater. Because I was working at Suncoast at the time, and there was this coworker guy who was like, we were both ninja movie fans, and we couldn't believe it that there was like a movie that was a ninja movie coming out into the theater, because it was like that hadn't happened in a long time, since we were like kids or not even of age to watch the stuff. Where am I? Oh, Will Paul says, okay, driving now, but I'm still listening, bro. Okay, be careful. Gary Page says, yes, Matilda May, she's French. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Oh, talking about the hot chick in Life Force? Okay. She must be Matilda May. All right, guys, approaching 2 hours of show. I'd say Max will probably do his another 30 minutes, I would say. You know, lately, by the time I get to 2 hours, 30 minutes of show, I've pretty much had it. Pardon me. I think that's a decent amount of show time for you guys, personally. That's what I think, personally. Austin says that train scene with the ninjas killing all those passengers was crazy as hell. Yeah, I just having seen it recently, that scene holds up really great. I can remember seeing that in the theater going, oh my God, this scene's great. Imagine seeing it in 95, that scene. I was really impressed with that. And how I don't think there's really any necessarily much music in that scene. It's just kind of just like musicless. It's just really cool scene. That's like the most famous thing about that movie is the train scene. Gary Page says the Canon documentary is on YouTube. Well, that's cool. Might have to check that out. Thanks for the heads up on that. Yeah, if I'm just silent, that means there's no one talking, or that means chat's slow as all living hell. I don't know if they've got enough people in chat to keep it going for another 28 minutes. Time will tell. Austin says, I still haven't seen the Canon doc yet. Iron Rooster says, what's your favorite food, Nate? We know Will's favorite is chicken from KFC. Do you eat fast food? Yeah, well, I used to eat more. I'm ashamed to say I grew up on fast food. I try not to eat as much of it anymore, but I suppose my favorite food is probably pizza, which isn't a health food either. I'd say pizza is my favorite food. I love, I like spaghetti a lot too. And what else do I like? I mean, I don't like a lot. I'm one of these people that doesn't like a lot of foods. Spaghetti and pizza, and I also like spaghetti too. So I'd say pizza's probably favorite food. Matt says, I'm going to head out. Talk to you later. Yeah, good luck on your decision with your video. Looking forward to your video, whatever camera you decide to use. Good luck with that, and looking forward to seeing it if you're still here. Austin says, I've seen the return of, I don't know, Return of the Living Dead, or Return of the More Brains and Crystal Lake Memories doc. Okay. And the Leviathan documentary. Okay. That's good. Iron Rooster says, Dominoes. Wait, I screwed up that accent. Dominoes. I can't really say that word with a southern accent. Yeah, there's this kind of corporate pizza place by me called Sarpino's. I don't know how big of a chain it is. Other than that, I kind of like mom and pop places that just have the square cut. I mostly do, because I'm just lazy and cheap. I mostly do frozen pizza. I love Domino's in the 80s, but for me, Domino's just doesn't do anything for me like it used to. Okay, Iron Rooster says that chain isn't here, referring to Sarpino's. Yeah, maybe it's like a northern / midwestern thing. Gary Page says it's called Electric Boogaloo. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to take a picture of this. The untold story of the Canon films. It's great. Most of the stars are in there from the movies. That's really cool. Let me get the camera queued up. And I understand that it's on this documentary is on YouTube, so what someone said. Iron Rooster says, I like Papa John's the best. I used to like that too, but too expensive. They had some weekly sale, it seems to me, or monthly sale. Maybe it was just monthly, where you could get like a pizza at half price or something. I'm a cheap bastard. I used to like Papa John's, but not so much anymore. Pretty much just do like mom and pop square cut pizza, and or Sarpino's these days. Like the only corporate place I really go is Sarpino's these days. Austin says, I think Return of the Living Dead 4 and 5 were Sci-Fi Channel sequels. Laugh out loud. Very well could be. Iron Rooster says, no doubt. Pizza is expensive. Yeah, I pretty much, most of my pizza eating is frozen. And then I even take it even further cheap wise, where I'll just cut a frozen pizza in half and have one half one day and then the other half the next day. Austin says, it's weird Phantasm 3 was sort of DirecTV. Part 4 went, well, I don't know what STV is. And then Ravager got a limited theatrical release. It's like studios didn't want to touch that franchise. Yeah, it's weird. Well, I don't imagine Phantasm 2 did very well for Universal in the theater. Because, I don't think many people knew about the first movie, really. So it's kind of weird that Universal would put so much, money behind a sequel to a movie that was relatively more or less unknown. So yeah, Phantasm is just kind of a franchise. That's another movie I've been meaning to watch. Having recently watched the first couple Phantasms, I've been meaning to watch the third one. But it's just a bummer that what happened with that franchise, where it just dwindled and dwindled as the movies went on. It's just such a shame they even did Ravager 5. Oh, STV is straight to video. Well, what's the difference between isn't DTV direct to video, straight to video, and direct to video, and isn't the same thing? Iron Rooster says, you were going to lose your voice going from normal voice to a British to Southern. Laugh out loud. Yeah, well, I've got all week to get it back again for the next show to lose it all over again. But I don't doubt it. Well, that's what the water helps with. I got this water you can hear me suck on. That's why the show is kind of getting less long as the weeks go on. Like it went from, we had a couple shows. I don't know how I went fucking 4 hours. There's a couple shows that was like the dead of winter though. I did like that. We're almost like a minute away from being 4 hours long. I don't know how I did it. I can't really go much past 2.5 hours these days. Austin says the budgets got lower after Phantasm 3. You can tell that for sure in 4. They're basically probably going out to the desert, no permit, and just shooting shit. That's what I don't like about Phantasm 4. It's just so blatantly low budget. Austin says, "Yes, straight to video and direct to video are the same thing." That's what I thought. Gary Page says, "Phantasm was a massive hit here. A small company called GTO Films put it out in cinemas, and it came out on video in 1981." Yeah, that happens sometimes where movies doesn't do necessarily that well in the North America, and then like in the Europe or across the pond, it does better. So that's really cool. Any idea how Phantasm 2 did over there? Iron Rooster says, "Did you ever watch any of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies or Urban Legend?" Yeah, I mean, I'm a I kind of like the first I Know What You Did last. Oh, maybe I can say the first couple I Know What You Did Last Summer. Let's face it, I mean, all of us, heterosexual males are just watching it for one reason, or should I say two reasons. Jennifer Love Hewitt's You Know What. But I mean, I don't really consider those movies necessarily, great horror or anything. It's more like just looking at Jennifer Love Hewitt, I guess. But I mean, I kind of appreciated, that was the post Scream resurgence of horror kind of a thing. I appreciate them to a certain extent. I'm more of a fan of the Scream movies than the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. And same with Urban Legend. Like I've got the movie of the first one, and I'm just there was kind of they overdid all that stuff in my opinion after the success of Scream. I'm more of just a fan of Scream, like 1 and 2, and I mean I guess 3 to a certain extent. I didn't really like 4. Iron Rooster says she is so hot. Yeah, I mean that was the only reason I ever watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, or the first two, have her in it, and yeah, maybe the correct phrase is she was so hot. I don't know how much now, but yeah, she was the shit in the late '90s. Kind of wish to be honest, she would have done more like of them kind of horror movies, but that's okay. Austin says Phantasm 5 was very disappointing in my opinion. Didn't care for the two Reggie. I don't know what's that word? Oh, realities. That's right. I haven't seen it in a long time, but there was like other realities or something. Ugh, God. Why did they have to do Phantasm 5? Gary Page says Phantasm 2 big at cinema, and VHS number 3 straight to video and 4 straight to DVD. Okay. Austin says Gary Page Phantasm 4 went straight to VHS DVD at the same time. Laugh out loud. Ha ha. Will Powell says, "I've arrived, baby." And he's got a little emoji of a chicken leg or some crap. That's funny. All right, enjoy your chicken. Are you gonna munch and listen? Well, there's not much show left. Probably like just 15 or 17 more minutes of show left. But oh boy, KFC in the UK. Uh-oh. Will Powell says, "Waiting in line at the drive-through." That'd suck if right before you get to the window, they're like, "Sorry, mate, we're out of chicken. We've got to wait for another shipment from Kentucky. That could take a while." All right, everyone. Probably about 16 minutes of show left. I think 2 hours and 30 minutes is a nice show time amount of show time personally. I've got to, make plenty of time, set plenty of time aside to watch Chud 2, because I'm sure I'll want to just watch it again, watch it twice in a row, I'm sure, after I see it. I'll just want to watch it again. Iron Rooster says, I can't believe she was in the Rob Zombie Halloweens. Who are we talking about? I don't think Jennifer Love Hewitt was in the Rob Zombie Halloweens. Who are we talking about? Will Powell says, I think I mentioned I used to work in a pizza place as a delivery man. We had some interesting customers. Crazy cat lady, shut the gate lady, orders every night guy. Oh, God. Oh, I can imagine that would have been some job, huh? Oh, that would have been fun to have like a GoPro on you during those times. Make a whole channel about crazy pizza customers. Austin says Reggie has dementia in the other reality, and the tall man conspiracy never happened in this reality as well. Oh, man. Iron Rooster says, try not to laugh your ass off too much while watching it. I commented, I wish Daniel Harris would have been in Halloween 6. Oh, shit. Yeah, that comment, I don't think that comment appeared. The last thing I saw, where did you say it? The last thing I saw you say was, she is so hot, and then it's, I can't believe she was in Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I wasn't seeing that Daniel Harris in Halloween 6. Yeah, I wish that too. I at the time, because me and a buddy, well, I should say an acquaintance, saw that in the theater, Halloween 6, and I was disappointed that, well, first of all, that the character was killed, and second of all, it wasn't Danielle Harris. But I guess if they're going to kill her, it doesn't really matter if it's not Danielle Harris. But yeah, that's one of those things that's just like, oh well. Iron Rooster says, side note, I like the Halloween 6 mask. Yeah, I that's the one thing I like about that movie is the mask is pretty cool. I think that's John, what's his name? John Beekler created mask. I think he did the mask for 6, if I'm not mistaken. Austin says Phantasm 5 is just too weird. The original idea for Phantasm's End was much better. Yeah, I just don't know why they had to go and do that with Phantasm 5. But like I say, I pretty much in my life or in my cinema, whatever, worldview, just the first 3 Phantasms kind of exist. So for me, Iron Rooster says Beekler done so many great things for the horror genre. That's very true. And that's a guy's work that was well appreciated. The soothing sounds of silence. And just, whenever I'm silent, it's because I've either fainted or there's nothing going on in chat. Austin says Daniel Harris only wanted $5,000 to appear in Halloween 6, but the studio was too stingy to even pay her that. Laugh out loud. That's why she didn't come back. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad she stuck to her guns. I mean, she shouldn't just get Dick after being like the main star in the last two. She shouldn't accept Dick for being in it. So good for her. Gary Page says, see you next week, or see you in the comments if you're starting later. Bye from Manchester, UK. And keep up the Laserdisc reviews going. Will do. Thanks for stopping by. See you when we can. As I said, the weather thing's a week-to-week thing, whether I start at 1 or 6, or I haven't really skipped a show yet, but if there's a really amazing voting day, I might skip a show altogether, but that ain't going to happen until at least May probably, or June. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you when we see you. Iron Rooster says they was stupid not to pay her. Bye, Gary. But again, I mean, if they're just going to, have Danielle Harrison kill her, I mean, I'm just, unless she's going to be a character throughout the whole movie, I just assume have it be someone else anyway, because it's not like you want to see Danielle Harris come back a third time to play the character only to die at the beginning of the movie. So I think it worked out for the best. Austin says that's how cheap the Weinsteins were. I'm glad they're out of the business and Harvey in jail. Iron Rooster says, yeah, true. All right, everyone. Probably about T-minus 9 minutes of show left and counting. Thanks, everyone, for showing up this week. I got the Chud 2 VHS standing there, so to remind me to watch I end up liking it. That'd be funny. Having watched it again, I think it's better than the first one. Yeah, right. It'd be interesting to revisit good old Chud 2. It's funny because on the VHS cover, there's like a painting of like chuds that more resemble the ones from the first movie coming out of the manhole cover, and like talk about completely false advertising. Like that's nothing what the movie is really like. It's just ridiculous. Iron Rooster says, you are a brave man. I don't know who he's talking to. Austin says, referring to, I guess, Weinstein. That guy was the worst. Oh, I'm a brave man to watch Chud 2, you mean, maybe? Yeah, okay. I got that. Okay, I said it before his comment popped up. Austin says, I still haven't seen Chud 2. I think, I want to say it possibly is on Tubi. You might want to check Tubi or YouTube or something. It's possible it's on Tubi. Who the hell knows? But if you can't find it, maybe you're better off not finding it, because from what I remember about it, it's, just a joke. But I shall find out. Yep. Silence is soothing. Austin says Chopping Mall had a VHS cover that wasn't like the movie either. That's true. You got this like robot Terminator hand holding the bag with the bloody body in it or something. Yeah, and the robots are nothing like, like some robot that's on the cover. That's true. And Rooster says, I may have to go to Taco Bell after the show, getting hungry, ha ha. Taco Bell is my favorite fast food. That's cool. Yeah, I forgot about tacos. I like tacos too. I used to like Taco Bell a lot in the 80s, but then it seemed like as the years went on, they um, really shortchanged you on the meat in there. So I started eating Taco John's because they put, more meat in there. Seemed like in the 2000s, like early 2000s, like Taco Bell, at least where I got it from, would really scrimp on the meat in the taco. Like in the 80s, I can remember getting tacos that were just like the meat juice was dripping through the bottom of the shell. It was like, oh, yummy. Yeah, tacos are good too. All right, everyone, about 4.5 minutes of show left. 4.5 minutes of silence. Iron Rooster says, don't skimp on the meat. Ha ha ha. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Remember that quote? Yep, I got a real good eye for prime meat. It runs in the family. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's one of them hard-shell peppercorns. Yeah, that's the only good thing about Chainsaw 2 is the return of can't remember his name, but the guy who played, he didn't have a name in the first movie, but in the second movie he was Drayton Sawyer, but in the first movie he was, I think, Old Man in the credits. You know what? That's another movie I've been meaning to watch. Is Texas Chainsaw from '74 again. Iron Rooster says, I have this cool video poster of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that folds out and has a hand in some chili. That's weird. I wonder if that would have been for, God, I can't imagine what that was for. A home video or theatrical release? It says, the Buzz Boys are back to give you a hand. God, I don't think I remember ever seeing that. That's interesting. Oh, you mean the hand is severed? It's a severed hand just sitting in a bowl of chili or something. Oh my God! Yeah, I can't remember ever seeing that before. That's kind of cool. Do you know if that was for theatrical or home video? Iron Rooster says yes, it's severed. Huh. The Buzz Boys are back to give you a hand. He says it for the VHS release. Well, that's cool. Yeah, he sounds like you got some cool collectibles yourself. So that's cool. Yep. Even more silence. Well, Will must be enjoying that KFC. Iron Rooster says, yes, I haven't Haven't seen it much on eBay. Yeah, I can't remember ever seeing that. That's a pretty cool find. All right, guys, about less than a minute left. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. As I said, I don't know when the start time is going to be next week. It's a week-to-week thing with the way the weather is going. We'll just see what happens. As always, check out, keep an eye on the About page on my channel to keep updated. Usually, the past couple weeks, I've been updating it on Wednesday before going to bed, so keep you guys as updated as I can on the About page. But guess that'll pretty much do it. Iron Rooster says maybe one will pop up every now and then. That maybe one will. And just like always, Austin trying to keep me here right at the show's ending says, do you have The Nest on Blu-ray? I do not. Iron Rooster says, peace out. Cool show. All right, guys. See you guys next time. Thanks a lot for showing up. And my outro song will be See Ya this week because I'm lazy. Thanks a lot.